It's been a long road for Ethel Williams, who has been at the forefront of global management consulting firm Bain & Company's role in state capture at the Zondo Commission. You remember that Williams resigned as Bain South Africa's partner in October of 2019 and delivered explosive testimony in March this year on evidence related to the South African Revenue Services. Well, Williams has been a vocal critic of corruption in the country, and he joins me now for what he says are developments as far as Bain & Company and it doing business in South Africa is concerned. Mr. Williams, thank you very much for coming back. For viewers who may have forgotten what Bain & Company was accused of when it comes to state capture, just give us a quick reminder of what it is that this company is alleged to have done.
Bain met numerous times with former President Jacob Zuma behind closed doors, after hours, discussing wide-ranging plans to restructure sectors of our economy, sectors of our government, and public institutions. One of the implementations of these plans was then for Bain to work with Tom Moyane before either of them got to SARS. As you recall, Tom Moyane became the Commissioner of SARS in 2014. But even before Tom Moyane got to SARS, Bain and Tom Moyane planned the restructuring of SARS as part of this broader plan with former President Jacob Zuma. So that when Moyane and Bain got to SARS, the restructuring was already a foregone conclusion. And as we know, that restructuring of SARS caused major damage to the organization, such that they were unable to collect the tax revenue for our country that was required.
Yeah, I think that's a very nice and brief explanation of where we were. Now, bring us up to speed. There is a body that represents businesses in South Africa. There are several of these bodies. One of them is Business Leadership South Africa. One of the bodies very vocal when it comes to issues of corruption. Now, this company that you talk about, Bain & Company, it was suspended from this group of businesses, or from this fold of Business Leadership South Africa in 2018. Give us the reasons of what BLSA said at the time that it suspended Bain & Company from its fold.
So that's right, Corey. Business Leadership South Africa represents some of the largest companies in South Africa. Their 12-person board includes the CEOs of the JSE, Vodacom, Nedbank, Barloworld, etc. So it's some of the largest organizations in our country. And BLSA, to their credit, were very vocal in 2018 to suspend Bain. BLSA has been making very good strides in trying to bring business into the fold, so to speak, in terms of our society in our fight against corruption. They took a very strong stand saying that they will act to root out, crush, and punish corruption. Very strong, powerful words. And so when they suspended Bain in 2018, they were very vocal about this, multiple press statements, and talked about five criteria they effectively wanted to see Bain act out in order to readmit them. And the five criteria were very sensible. One was Bain needed to conduct an independent investigation of what happened, reasonable. Secondly, Bain needed to fully cooperate with the authorities, particularly the Newzroom Commission and the Zondo Commission. Third, Bain needed to make full disclosure of what happened at SARS and, more broadly, Bain's involvement with state capture. 4, Bain needed to make proportionate amends, and these are the words that BLSA used, proportionate amends for the harms caused. And fifthly, they wanted Bain to act decisively with those involved.
All right. Now, you have discovered that Bain has been readmitted into BLSA. That is what you are claiming. You're going to tell us on what basis do you say that? Is there some kind of proof you may have that they have indeed been readmitted into BLSA? And importantly, have they met these 5 criteria that were set out for them?
So this is my concern and the reason I'm speaking out. After having been so vocal about why they suspended Bain, BLSA has now let Bain in quietly through the back door. No public statements, no announcements, just quietly let them back in. How do I know this? Well, 2 simple facts. In fact, 3 simple facts. One, on BLSA's website, up until June of this year, they had Bain's logo with the word suspended above it. That word suspended is now removed. Secondly, earlier this month, in fact, there was a Business Day article in which the journalist asked BLSA about Bain's suspension, and so the CEO of BLSA, Busi Mavuso, confirmed that Bain's suspension has been lifted. And thirdly, just from my discussions with the CEO of Business Leadership South Africa, that suspension has been lifted. So it's absolutely clear the suspension has been lifted very quietly. This is concerning to me because, one, it's big business saying to South Africa, we are now embracing this company who was a primary actor in state capture. And secondly, it's our society saying to the world that we are not serious about corruption and state capture because we are embracing this company who was a primary actor. And just to the point then about these five factors, right? Let's just common sense. BLSA wanted Bain to conduct an independent investigation. The law firm that Bain hired, Baker McKenzie, were actually Bain's legal advisors. Before the investigation, they worked with Bain in preparing documents for the Newzroom Commission. They worked with Bain in preparing their witnesses. And during the investigation, Baker McKenzie were advising Bain. So just common sense says, how can this be an independent investigation if your law firm is conducting the investigation? Secondly, we know that Bain did not cooperate with the Newzroom Commission because the Newzroom Commission report said so. Judge Nugent was very critical of Bain for not cooperating, not supporting, not putting witnesses forward. In fact, Bain withheld information and witnesses from the Nugent Commission. Thirdly, this idea of full disclosure and making full disclosure and cooperating, even the Zondo Commission, as you recall, invited Bain to present witnesses, and Bain declined to present their witnesses. They wanted to cross-examine me, but were not willing to put their own people forward for questioning. Fourthly, this idea of proportionate amends. I acknowledge that Bain had repaid the fees that they paid to SARS. But I challenge anyone to suggest that paying back the 200 million rand in fees compensates and makes reparation in our country for the long-term devastating effect of Bain's work in South Africa. And those are BLSA's words. They describe Bain's work as causing long-term devastating effect. Now, how is 200 million rand going to compensate for that? And lastly, Colin, just this point about taking decisive action against people at Bain. Not a single person at Bain was fired for what they did in South Africa. Their head of their business, Vittorio Massone, left the company after 3 months of negotiation. I put it to you, that's not exactly decisive action against people involved. So then we're left with a question, if not satisfying BLSA's own 5 criteria, on what basis did they admit Bain back into the fold?
Mr. Williams, I put it to you that this is very damaging for BLSA, Business Leadership South Africa. One of its leaders, Busi Mavuso, is a regular on this channel. And among the issues she speaks very fervently on is corruption and getting rid of corruption. This is a credibility crisis for them, if indeed it is true. What is your view about why they would take this step, if indeed they have?
I can only imagine there was pressure put on them from some quarters. I can't speculate. I think what they should do is reverse this decision, wait for the Zondo Commission report, because then we have the facts. Reverse this decision, wait for the Zondo Commission report, and then I think revisit this decision. I think exactly as you say, it's a major challenge to the credibility of Business Leadership South Africa, but also our country. Right now, BLSA is in the UK trying to get the Prime Minister of the UK to take South Africa off the red list. They are representing our country. And so how can this organization, who speaks about ethics, integrity, and being anti-corruption, now represent us to the world while embracing a company? And let's be clear, Bain is different to the other companies involved in state capture because they were at the table with President Zuma and all of the others who were planning state capture. How can we possibly embrace this organization without them fulfilling those 5 criteria?
Ethel Williams, thank you very much for joining us and giving us the latest developments as far as Bain and Company is concerned.